This week on the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, does Biggin have a ghost in his house? Oreo has 5 new flavors, and we have special guest Derek Grayson. We're going to talk about heritage versus hate. All that and more on this episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where two guys take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy, and you, the listener, are getting a degree in common sense. We are broadcasting from the Busted Knuckles studio right here in beautiful downtown historic Concord, North Carolina. I'll be your host, Biggin, and how about you? We've got a great show lined up for you, as always. But before we begin, let me introduce you to the second half of this flaky biscuit. There he is. He's sitting right across from me. He's the pride of Anderson, South Carolina, but most of you probably know him best as the Silver Tongue one, 2016's honorable mention
Playboy
Comedian of the Year, the inventor of the redneck egg roll. Give it up for Mojo!
Welcome back, y'all. This is the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. As he said, you can go to our youtube.com/SFP radio link. You can also check us out on the Facebooks at Southern Fried Philosophy. Also go to our Twitter at SFP radio. Our website is southernfriedphilosophy.com. Sorry, man. Whew. And also, we have a new Patreon link. What is that Patreon link?
Patreon.com/SFP radio.
So if you want to donate $1, if you want to donate $2, 50 cents, whatever you want to do, we're like a yard sale. You just throw in a quarter, make you a pair of jeans or something. Anyway,
let's be very clear. We want 50 actual cents, not 50 Cent the rapper.
That's right.
Actually, I'll probably take both.
But yeah, we set this up. We've had some people ask us how they could contribute and how to make us stay on the air. Well, we're going to stay on the air regardless, but ask us, help us out with our costs and stuff like that. So we created this Patreon link for anybody out there. We're also going to be creating maybe some private content on there as we go forward.
Yep.
And for our Patreons, and Also, hey, by the way, if you're listening for the first time, go to our iTunes and Google Play Stitcher links. You can subscribe there according to your device. When you subscribe, if you give us a review, it helps us move up in the ratings there. And I pretty much have fulfilled our legal responsibilities, I think. So there you go.
If you want to come hang out with us at the Busted Knuckles studio and have yourself your very own smoking hot seat brought to you by Bad Mother Smokers, just shoot us an email at sfpradio@gmail.com, and you can sit with us and hang out and just enjoy the show.
Yeah,
so we'd love to have you.
And also you can bring adult beverages. We're not going to discriminate.
Now, last week we asked for adult beverages and a chicken nugget tray. Nobody really picked us up on that.
That's
one.
Right.
I was really looking forward to that this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mojo, I'm going to ask you, like I ask you every week, how you be doing?
I think I've said this before on here, but
Probably.
I'm sorry, but the streets in downtown Concord absolutely suck.
They are getting better. They're
slowly, inch by inch.
Almost getting there.
I don't understand how they can pave whole sections of 85 and 77 overnight. I'm talking about strip the road up and then come back and relay it. But downtown Concord can't even get this paved in a 4 weeks period of time.
You can't have nothing. You can't even have a road.
So just for listeners out there, basically downtown Concord, just like any type of road reconstruction, in certain states they don't even worry about roads anymore. They just have gravel, I think. But in here they've come in and they've stripped the streets up back to a kind of original foundation of asphalt, probably from 60 years ago, and they're getting ready to relay a whole new one. But in that, you have these grooves, and you have every sewage line clean out, every manhole cover is now elevated, and you pretty much need to wear a mouth guard while you're riding because your jaws are jittering. But I honestly think this is a conspiracy because how long has this been this way, the roads?
It's been a solid 3 weeks now.
Okay, so 3 weeks. The city council must have a board member who has an alignment shop or suspension or tire or something. There has to be somebody getting paid there.
I have seen on the Nextdoor app several people saying that they're going to get their car realigned after it's done and give the city their bill.
No doubt.
You know what we have to say about that is,
this is stupid. Cut the crap.
It is horrible, man. So anyway, how you be doing?
Good. We enjoyed Frank Caliendo on Monday.
Boom!
Boom! It was a great show with him. I tried to do the impressions all the way home, and I failed miserably. So
Well, I think that's the reason why he gets paid the bucks.
Right,
Because if
sure.
everybody could do it, then it would be no Frank Caliendo. But yeah, it was a fun show. The Comedy Zone downtown Charlotte. So it's the first time I've ever been in the dungeon there. But yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, and Frank does a really clean show. I was really impressed with that. So it was, his impressions, doing some new stuff. So if you have the chance to go listen to him, check him out at frankcaliendo.com. And then I know he's touring. I think he's in Tampa this week. So anyway, go check him out. I really enjoyed the show. So there's that. The other thing is I've got this little teeny tiny camera at the house, and I don't know why I got it. I just got it because, I wanted a little camera. And so I
trying to see if guys are sneaking in.
Well, it wasn't that. It was more for like security purposes and that kind of stuff. But I have it inside the house. But I have it set up so that if between the hours of like midnight and 6, if something happens, like I get a little notification on my phone. And man, I got this one that was really weird at 4:09, and it was a sound alert, so the camera picked up something. And I'm going to let you listen to it. And now let me paint the picture here for you. My wife and I are both upstairs, completely asleep. We've got hardwood floors all over downstairs. We've got like a little island, I guess you could say, that has a wood top to it. Our countertops are wood, so there's a lot of wood. Make your joke there in our house. So, but here's the thing: like, I'm going to play this audio, and there's 2 knocks. You'll hear 2 knocks inside the house, and I don't know where it's coming from. So here's the audio. All right, so I don't know.
That was what time?
It was at 4:09.
Okay,
we both are confirmed that we are asleep. That we are not going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. So, I mean, here we go.
Well, that sounds like me dropping the toilet lid up and down.
Well, and that may be, but we've got the slow close toilets. So it's not that. So here's it again. I mean, that's clearly like
that's
a
a
knock.
4:09.
At 4:09. Now, I will say at 1:33, I hear this. It's a little bit different. I'll play that one again as well.
Actually, that has a little more of an echo, too.
It has a little bit more of an echo, which I may think that it was the ice maker. But then at 2:20...
Dude, if your ice maker sounds that way, you need a new ice maker.
Probably a new ice maker. Yeah. Here's the one at 2:29, though. Now, there's a pause in that one. So, y'all, I'm starting to think... I don't know what it could be. So I've moved the camera a little bit so I can get more on that side of things, but it's never happened before. And then all of a sudden, like 4 times, 2 knocks, 4 times in the night. Y'all, you think it's haunted?
I don't know.
Keep in mind, my house is 106 years old.
Right.
So there's that piece.
Most likely. I don't know. I would probably not go in the basement on a full moon on a Friday the 13th if you gave me money. So I'm just throwing it out there.
I don't know. Like, I'm going to be kind of listening, staying awake tonight, I think. I don't know.
You know what? We need to have all the guys for Cigar and Bourbon Club, and we'll all stay up, like how you did, like
paint each other's nails.
Like church youth, like the lock in. We'll do that.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna paint your nails, maybe, but yeah, we need to do that thing.
I mean, it was a little disturbing, I'll say, this morning. So, I'll put like a little Facebook poll out that'll say, "Is Biggins' house haunted?" Yep, and you guys can listen.
That's how every horror movie starts, is that knock, and then we go look for it, and then all of a sudden you get an axe in your forehead,
and then you get,
this thing was 10 foot tall. He had beautiful hair.
I love that guy. All right, so here is our wacky news for the week.
Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. It's making me crazy. It's making me crazy. Every time I look around.
Wacky world.
Every time I look around. It's in my face.
All right, here's the headline. A student is punished for implied threat after putting the high school on Craigslist. Now, I know about senior pranks. What was your senior prank? Do you even remember what that was?
I think we were threatened within an inch of our lives, and I really wanted to graduate to get out of that school.
Okay.
So
So you didn't do it?
I didn't participate.
Our high school, we had a truckload of manure dumped in the front
Oh, nice.
entrance, so you had to walk around that. So,
Nice.
Anyway, we weren't as creative as this guy. While some of his classmates wanted to execute senior pranks that would potentially disrupt classes, a Missouri high school, Keelan Scheel, opted a more tomfoolery than a little more chill. He said that Scheel listed his Truman High School for the reasonable price of $12,275 on Craigslist. He posted the post that he had described the building as a huge 20-plus room facility, and he listed some of the selling points. Among the others were a newly built football field, newly added 4 modern-day rooms, I don't know what that means, next to a Walmart for convenience, a huge parking lot, great for partygoers looking for somewhere to park, bigger than normal dining room, that was a great one, named after the hometown resident U.S. President Harry S. Truman and his family, and this is the one that got him in trouble. Reason for sale is due to loss of students coming up.
And they took that one little phrase and then...
Yeah, they thought that he was implying that there was going to be like a mass shooting and there's going to be students killed. He just meant to say, we're going on summer break, so there's not going to be anybody there.
That, or he could, I think we talked about this, that let's just say that the senior class has 400 people.
Right.
Well, maybe there's only 350
Right.
11th graders moving in that. So technically that would be less. But no, we got to run it out to the most extreme, absurd ending. And
Well, the police department, the detectives realized like it's just a prank, no big deal, so they dropped the charges. However, the school didn't help out. The admin still suspended him for the remainder of the school year, and he's not allowed to walk at his graduation because of that.
Well, that's kind of stupid, and I would, But now being suspended. Okay, I mean the last week of school you're pretty much watching
movies
anyway or sleeping, so not really a waste.
I love Mama though. She said that on the bright side, he's going to be able to get his diploma no matter what, and he'll be able to start the party a little bit sooner.
There you go.
So way to go, Mama.
He'll be first in line at the Sam's Club getting the graduation cake.
There you go. All right, the next one, I don't know if you saw this or not, but there is a video of an FBI agent that was dancing at a wedding, and we'll put the video and the information out, or the story out on our show notes. But the FBI was dancing at a wedding, and he did a backflip. And when he did the backflip, his gun fell out.
His service weapon,
of his back pocket. Well, when he went to go pick it up, he fired.
He pulls the trigger.
He pulls the trigger, and he walks away. And then so now,
and one person was injured, right?
Got shot in the leg.
Yeah.
He's the person that got shot in the leg is doing fine, no problem. But still, I mean, y'all,
a lot worse.
Y'all.
So I wonder if the FBI has suspended him, or
I at this point in the story, I don't know.
Okay.
But they said that he's under investigation, or they're looking into it. But he was not arrested. But I mean, dude, just your normal, like, you don't put your finger on the trigger. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's basic firearms 101.
Yeah, good gracious, y'all. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of silly, and the fact that the way that he was dancing. Hey, buddy. They're wondering if alcohol was involved. By the way that he's dancing, I can confirm that there was alcohol involved.
Well, it's probably an open bar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He can't dance. It was the dumbest looking dance I've ever seen in my life. Performing a backhand handspring.
That's like an 80s rap battle dance move,
Yep. No doubt. We do have an update on. Do you remember the story of the teacher who fed the puppy to the snapping turtle?
Yeah.
We had this a while ago. Well, just an update on that. He is now officially charged. He is going to either spend 6 months in jail and have a $5,000 fine if he's convicted for the charge of feeding this puppy to this turtle.
Wow.
What's funny is, not funny, but he didn't have a permit for the turtle, so the turtle ended up having to be euthanized. So The real loser of this is the turtle.
The turtle.
Yeah.
And the puppy.
And the puppy. Yeah.
Jeez.
So, wow, it's some fun times, isn't it?
People are idiots.
Do you have anything to add besides that?
No, that's just people are idiots. I think that's pretty much sums it up.
There you go. That was Wacky News brought to you by Webmerized. If you need a clean, crisp website, go check them out at webmerized.com. That's webmerized.com. And check them out under the sponsor section of our website. All right, so we're going to go into some topics.
These are the days of America, brother to brother, hand in hand. These are the days of America, walking together through the promised land.
All right, so Boulder, Colorado has just banned ownership of the AR-15 rifles. The entire town has now put a ban on these rifles. I don't know if you've seen this or not. This is not anything new. Deerfield, Illinois has also done this as well, that they have said that you are not allowed to have weapons, those particular weapons, in their community. And when they say it's an assault rifle, they're saying anything that has a detachable magazine that holds more than 10 rounds.
That's a lot of guns.
That's not just rifles. That's handguns. Yeah.
Shotguns, too.
Even shotguns now at this point. So they are getting rid of all their guns. If you are fine, if you have one, you can be fined $250 to $1,000 a day in this community. Boulder passed the law that said that you can own an AR-15 if you can come to us showing us that you've already purchased the AR-15, but you are not allowed to be a new owner of the AR-15 in the city of Boulder, Colorado.
Because, bad guys follow rules.
Of course, yeah,
So,
it makes sense.
But does Boulder, Colorado have a lot of crime? I mean, they're all high all the time.
Well, I think that was like as close to where the first major school shooting happened was close to there.
Near Columbine.
Yeah, yep.
But still, though.
So, but yeah,
I wonder what their crime percentage is there.
I wouldn't think a lot.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's more drug offenses. I don't know. But still, though, yeah, these towns doing this is probably going to backfire pretty.
It's going to have to.
It's going to either backfire in litigation, or it's going to backfire with people moving out of the area.
That's what I think of that rule.
It'll probably be. I mean, it could have an economic impact. With people maybe moving, leaving because they're feeling infringed on.
Yeah.
I mean, also maybe crime.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to kind of watch this community of knowing that nobody there has a gun.
Well, it could be just a revolver. Your chances are maybe a little better if it's a revolver.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but it should be an interesting experiment here.
But the question comes into play is it constitutional? And I don't think that the town can necessarily say, no, you can't have it.
Right.
But like an HOA could come in and say that it's against our HOA policies potentially, but I don't know how they're going to skirt around that.
I don't know how they would get around that because all HOA laws are written for the exterior and the property. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to do with the interior.
I don't know. They could say you can't have specific type of pets in that community. Like you can't own snakes or something like that, or lions.
I think. You're probably right on that. I don't know. We'll just have to see how it plays out. I think it's asinine and absurd.
Yeah. And the free market. We'll see how the free market comes to play on that. I think it's just an interesting topic to bring up.
Oh, absolutely.
That it'll be, like I said, interesting to see overall how it's going to happen or what's going to happen with that. All right. So Miss America, I don't know if you saw this or not, but they are scrapping the swimsuit portion of this pageant.
The only reason I ever watched Miss America pageant.
Well, so they're scrapping that. They're also getting rid of the evening gown and they're allowing it to be all shapes and sizes for women. And so they're scrapping that to do more of a highlight of their achievement, goals in life, and how they will use her talents, passions, and ambition to perform the job of Miss America. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm just being straight up honest. I never understood the swimsuit portion of the contest. I never got it. Like, okay, you're in a swimsuit. Let's move on. I never got that.
Well, I mean, the swimsuit, I don't know why. I mean, only thing, well, I guess it could see, I mean, it's a physical attribute competition, right? And also it does have some talent, and they do ask that like one softball question, like, what do you wish the whole world could have? And choose a world peace, or
pizza.
Now it's climate change free or something like that. But I mean,
don't want any climate change whatsoever.
I don't know. Who knows what the new verbiage?
I know.
Who knows what the new verbiage is now?
Yeah.
But I think the swimsuit part has just been something as a physical attribute. I mean, you don't turn on Miss America to hear debates on politics or whatever.
True.
You turn on the Miss America to watch as a beauty pageant. It says it right there in the beauty pageant part. Just like the Boy Scouts is for boys because it says Boy Scouts. Not anymore, but
right.
But why do we shy away from that? Like, well, it's a beauty pageant. Why do we shy away from that? I mean, it's not like we're asking them to show the whole business. It's just a part that's always been traditional there. I mean, I could care less if the show goes off, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
I can't tell you the last time I ever watched one, probably when I was 20.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that people are into that lifestyle and the pageantry of the pageant. So I think it's stupid.
That was very Trump-like, by the way. The pageantry of the pageant.
Well, I'm trying to get my language up bigly, so and use some bigly words. But I wonder why they're doing this now in this time.
Well, why do you think? I mean, it's part of that whole Me Too movement. If you get women out of bikinis, it's not sexualizing them, which I could almost agree with.
So now we're banking on the women who don't shave their armpits and eat vegan now, watching the stupid pageant now. Is that what we're thinking?
I don't think it's going that far. I think that if you're a bigger woman, you probably don't feel comfortable going out in a bikini, which I get you. But you'll remember, like we had the story of the Muslim woman that wanted to compete in that, and they were trying to force her to wear the bikini as well. But if you're a bigger woman, you don't feel comfortable like that. And who's to say that she can't be Miss America?
No, I'm not saying that. But do you honestly think that if you have a pageant, I mean, it's not like just one person who shows up and says, "Hey, I'm representing North Carolina."
Right.
There's a competition along the thing, and I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think there's going to be some standards that judges have across the board, and it's not going to just boil on personality. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to say, "Well, this person has a charming smile." It's probably going to have something to do with physical attributes. Now, the shapes may change a little bit, but I don't think you're going to see some of the plus size models that are trying to do this healthy at any weight type movement that's come across. But I think you're still going to have the most traditional looking pageant contestants.
Yeah,
there.
I don't know. I think it'll be one of those things that are interesting to see. I would like to see all shapes and sizes. I don't necessarily think that if you're 36, 24, 36, only if she's 5'3", that should just categorize you into being in the pageant. I think anybody should be able.
Well, none of them are 5'3". Yeah, I got you there, Sir Mix-a-Lot. But no, I'm not shaming anyone for body size because Lord knows, I mean, but I don't. I just
it's going to be a stretch, but I think that it's going to be.
You know what? It's kind of like professional sports. Pageantry is kind of like the top people in the top of their game should be the represent the states. Just like, I mean, that's just like saying, hey, the sports leagues, we're going to open it up to all people of athletic ability, and I expect, and I'm going to be powerful, and I'm going to create a huge social stir if I don't get accepted with the Panthers as a wide receiver.
I don't think that that's the case. I think that, I mean, if you do the things that the pageant is asking you to do, I think that
you can try out.
You can try out.
Absolutely.
And if you can make it that far, I think that's great.
No, and I'm not saying that. Whoever makes it, whatever.
Right.
Granted, I won't be watching it, and I probably will not know about it.
Right.
But my kudos. If that's your passion and dream, go for it.
Yeah.
And if you get there, hats off to you. I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately, we don't have live TV at my house. So.
All right, so we'll move forward on this one. So probably the most important thing is Oreo is coming out with 5 new flavors. They have they have unveiled them. Let me give
Please don't say sausage and gravy.
No, it's not. It's not that bad. So here are a list of the 5. So there are Rocky Road. So that's going to be the new flavor, Rocky Road. How do you feel about that?
Look, I'm a original guy, and I might be a double stuffed guy. I don't like flavors in my Oreo. Keep it original. I'm sorry.
Okay, and I don't have any problem with that. So the other one's Rocky Road, Peppermint Bark. I can almost get
Peppermint barf.
I do like it when you with like little crushed peppermints.
Okay,
in there.
yeah.
I kind of dig that. Pistachio Thins. I don't know about that. The 2 that I'm most excited about are Good Humor Strawberry Shortcake. With the vanilla. It's got the vanilla, and then it'll be the strawberry shortcake. And then my top one is Chocolate Peanut Butter Pie.
Now, of all of those, that would probably be one that would lure me to the dark side. But I have a hard. Because in my mind, the only way to eat an Oreo is with an ice cold mug.
Yes, you've taught me that,
Yes.
and my life has never been the same, my friend.
Yeah, the ice cold mug of you take your freezer mug, your beer mug, you put it in the freezer, pull it out, pour the milk in it. Oh man, it's just,
My wife will never have anything besides that. When she makes milk, when she pours milk, that's the way she's gotta have it.
But I just can't imagine like dipping a peppermint bark Oreo into milk. I just don't know that flavor profile.
Yeah.
Because peppermint is like breath mints after the Chinese restaurant. Peppermints are from the old guy sitting on the pew beside you that offers you a mint. The peppermints are reserved for special occasions. So I just don't know how that's going to happen. The Rocky Road, that's good in ice cream. I just don't know the flavor profile of a cookie.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm a purist when it comes to. I'm just a creature of habit.
You just like it. And the other trick that you taught us on the Oreo is put a fork in between the cookies.
The 2 sandwiches and the
then
cream.
You can just dip it in.
Oh yeah, no
Boom.
mess. You can hold it down as long as you want to. You get full coverage.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Makes me want to cry thinking about it.
And now I want an Oreo. Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, and so the last one is the Bakery Supreme Court Cake Gate. Will you tell us?
Yeah,
about
basically,
that
this past week, the Supreme Court narrowly, according to MSNBC and CNBC, narrowly approved that the bakers of, I cannot remember the name of the company now.
one? I have no idea.
They Supremes ruled 7-2 that the bakery owner does not have to bake cakes to a gay couple or anyone he objects with their personal lifestyle.
I think that's a win.
It is, and before you turn us off and get mad, and here's the reason why it's a victory, and it's not because of religious liberty or whatever the guy said. It's about personal property rights.
Yep.
And what it boils down to is if I go take $20 and I buy $20 worth of ingredients from my shop, you should not be allowed to come into my business and dictate that I'm going to make a product for you with using my product and the fruits of my labor. So that's a huge win, I think, as far as individual freedom, especially businesses too, because businesses should be allowed to discriminate. I discriminate every day. I discriminate by people that can't pay for bikes with credit scores and stuff like that due to past history. I mean, there's a reason why we discriminate. Now, I also think here's why I'm also happy about this too, is because I think the free market also will rule. Because as a business owner, I'll be honest with you, I don't turn anyone away unless it's for extenuating circumstances out of my control. Yeah. But I love money. Money everyone has. I want a piece of it.
Yep.
But the free market will ultimately decide this guy's fate because he could receive such backlash now that people may not patronize his business.
Yep.
That's the one thing that strive every day for is not to receive that negative feedback, and I want people to come to our shop. So I think that the free market will decide this, because I think he's an idiot too. Maybe idiot's a strong language. I think it's a bad witness of Christ.
Because I'll agree with you on that piece.
Because and as Christ said, and Paul describes with scandalous grace, I think we have to bestow that. If it's been bestowed on us and we can receive that kind of scandalous grace, I have to bestow that onto my fellow man and neighbor. So I think it's great for property rights, great for a business to be able to make a decision, but I think it sucks as far as a mission in Christ that we're all on this daily walk. So that's just my 2 cents.
He gets a. I will agree with that. I think the thing that I would point out, what you're saying is, for the businesses, if they have a religious observation or a religious stance that they're taking against something, that they should be able to do that. So another example of when the government can't come in and tell you to do something, like for Hobby Lobby. We have that whole issue with Hobby Lobby trying to the government forcing them to do birth control or to give their employees birth control. They shouldn't have to do that if that's against their religious beliefs.
Sure.
You look at even one step further, you take the Indian tribe that uses peyote before in their religious circumstances. And then the government says, well, you can't use that, but you say that's part of my religious system. So I think that's a win in that case. But I do agree with you 100% completely. And we had the discussion, like, the guy was a bad witness. I think Jesus would have made the cake. He would have turned the water into wine. Things would have been a good party.
Right.
Now, you'll probably disagree with us. That's fine.
That's fine. I'm not affiliated with any Southern Baptist church or any Pentecostal church anymore. So my personal beliefs and JT's, Biggins that's our own individual feelings on that. And a lot of times our views and expressions aren't those of our guests and sponsors. So, but my personal belief is that we have to carry that message for Christ. And I take exhaustive debate with the guy as far as that, if it was he making the wise move. Right. Now, once again, that's between him and his financial advisors and whoever he's beholden to. I just don't think it's the wisest decision. Now, but to defend the guy on the same flip side, these two guys, the couple that actually went to his business, admitted to bypassing other businesses to target his. They were out seeking a business that would turn them down so they could cry wolf. So
I don't know that. I haven't heard that.
There's also another case that'll be pending too, where there's a pizza restaurant, I think it's in Nebraska or Illinois, somewhere like that, a gay couple drove over 62 miles to this pizza restaurant in the middle of nowhere, even though they passed 62 miles worth of restaurants to find that one place that would turn them down. Number one, who puts pizza at a catering for a wedding? No one. I'm saying I wouldn't mind pizza, but no one does it. I don't know of a rich gay couple that would ever have pizza at a wedding. So I'm just saying that a lot of these things are staged for political correctness, or a lot of these things are staged for just social media outcry. So, but yeah, as far as going back, I think the guy's kind of making an idiotic move. But anyway.
And that goes to the point of, like, if somebody's not doing what you would ask them to do, here's my stand. Just go to another bakery or go to another thing. Like, it's not that hard. It's not the only one in town. Like, you can find somebody else to make a cake. Why go crazy about it? And I can understand if we need to be accepting of other people need to be accepting of our beliefs as well. And if that particular guy says that's not my belief, then you need to be accepting of that and move on. So,
but like here in Charlotte, we have a pretty large and up-and-coming Middle Eastern community here. Mm-hmm. There's halal and Arabic bakers here. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that I couldn't go to them and have the same request for a gay wedding cake. Or I'm pretty sure that I couldn't go to them and say, you know what, Jesus is the only reason for the season. And have you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I respect that, though.
Right.
But here's the thing. I know that my free market dollars don't go there. They go to somewhere else. Mm-hmm. That's okay. Yep. We can all, get along. We can all stay in our lane and still get along.
Yeah. Yeah. we've said it before, common sense is a superpower, and just, like you said, stay in your lane and just enjoy everybody. Like, just get along, y'all.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult. I think the media makes it a big deal. Like,
Absolutely.
we can't get along, we can't like the other people. Y'all
Yep.
just love people.
Absolutely. I think
Y'all-
our upcoming guest, I think we'll probably expand on that a little bit too, as
Yep.
far as the media and the regurgitation of stuff. So
Yeah. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have Derek Grayson. Where's Derek from?
Derek is out of Atlanta, Georgia. Also,
Hot Atlanta.
Yeah, also known as the Minister of Truth, and you can find him on the Facebooks, and we'll kind of give those out here in a few. But he was a candidate, Libertarian Party, down in Georgia, a Republican Party also. So yeah, interesting cat.
All right. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, Derek Grayson is with us. All that and more. We'll be back.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through, just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Georgia on my mind. I said, Georgia.
Welcome back to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Today on the phone line, we have Derek Grayson, a.k.a. the Minister of Truth. Derek Grayson first caught my eye a few years ago when he was running for office in Georgia, and I've been following him ever since. And he inspired this call today with a post about heritage versus hate in the Confederate flag. And I guess he's probably taken a lot of flack from some of his followers because anytime you stoke the fires of the red, white, and blue of the Confederacy flag, you have a tendency to bring out the weird in everyone. So,
Right.
Welcome to the show, Derek.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. So, you posted this, and it's My Heritage versus Hate, and you had an excerpt from the Cornerstone speech from Alexander Stephens, who was the vice presidency of the Confederacy. And I quote from partial of this Cornerstone speech because it is pretty long, just like any type of speech in front of the House or Senate. Here I quote Alexander Stephens exactly here. Our new government is founded upon exactly the opposite ideas of the Constitution. Its foundations are laid, its cornerstones rest upon the great truth that the Negro is not equal to the white man, that slavery, subordination to the superior race, is his natural and moral condition. This, our new government, is the first in the history of the world based upon this great physical, philosophical, and moral truth. So just that one little paragraph right there should turn anyone who has a rebel flag flying and keeps spewing this mantra of heritage, not hate. So kind of fill me in how you is this something, this speech right there, is this something you've been privy to for a while? Because I've read through part of the CSA documents and stuff like that, and I missed the speech. So,
Okay. Well, I'm into research.
yes, sir.
In the black community, there's this old saying, talk about what you know about.
Right.
And there are many people in the world today, including blacks, who, when they talk, they've actually done no research. They simply regurgitate what is put forth. Now, this part of his speech, when I've presented it, people would say, well, he didn't speak for everybody. Well, he spoke for enough people to have the 1%ers to enter into a war. And let me just tell you why I get into this conversation with people. It starts out about Trump, and I try to draw a parallel to get people to understand what the Civil War was all about, how they got people riled up to go and fight for them. And I'm talking about, and I'm going to use a phrase, I hope you don't mind, I call them the rich sons of bitches of the North versus the rich sons of bitches of the South.
Right.
Simply put, Abraham Lincoln did not want to go to war. That's a fact, undeniable.
True. Yep.
Abraham Lincoln wanted to keep the Union together. Why? Because he knew that divided we stand, divided we fall, united we stand.
Mm-hmm.
If the country was to divide, that would open us up to more wars between states. It would open us up to invasion from other countries, i.e., France or England again. And he wanted to prevent that from happening, and the only way that would happen is if the country stayed united.
Sure.
And he made it clear to the South, I'm not trying to take away your slaves. I don't really give a damn about it. I'm paraphrasing,
Sure.
using my own words.
Yeah.
But I want to keep the Union together. But here's where the South had a problem. They knew that the people, the merchants of the North, did not want to expand westward, and the South having the benefit of free labor or virtually free labor.
Yep.
It would create an undue advantage, and the South would always have an economic advantage over the rich sons of bitches of the North. And they didn't want that.
Yep.
So their move was, look, Lincoln, we're behind you, but you can't allow the South to expand slavery westward. They can keep the slaves, but if we expand westward, they can't take slavery with them. It's got to stay in the South. The abolitionists who wanted slavery gone altogether felt the same way, but they would have accepted the fact that slavery would not expand westward, and they would fight the fight of ending slavery at a later date. The South surmised that if they can stop us from expanding westward, infringing upon our economic capability, with the help of the abolitionists, they will eventually move to have Congress outlaw slavery altogether. That is that cornerstone speech by Stephen. That is the impetus of the fact that they fired the first shot. They were not going to be told that they couldn't not only expand slavery westward, but at a later date be told that they couldn't have slaves.
Mm-hmm.
And they transitioned that argument, what we see with the media today. They transformed, I should say, that argument to the people of the South, those soldiers that went out there and died. Hey, the North is trying to tell us what to do.
Mm-hmm.
We can't have that. We need to put a stop to that. The people in the South, they're poor. You know, most of them poor. They don't own slaves. They don't know what the hell is going on. So they're sold a bill of good by their representation, telling them this is a just war. This is something that we need to do to maintain our heritage. But most of them that didn't pay attention to that speech didn't get it. They weren't there to hear that speech. They didn't know. And I'm sure he didn't speak for everybody, but when the politicians went home and sold that war, they got on board. Look, Lyndon Baines Johnson said, and this was the mentality that they used. He said, if you make the poor white believe that they are better than any Negro, no matter what their stature is in life, rich or poor, if you make them believe that they are better than any Negro, while they pick the pockets of the Negro, if you convince them of that, while we pick their pockets, meaning the white man, the poor white man, he will be picking the pockets of the Negro who were getting broke off by the one percenters, those who own the plantation. And that's what we have happening today. And here's the parallel. Trump is rich. Politicians go to D.C. broke, i.e. Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. When they leave, they are multimillionaires, okay? How do they become multimillionaires? Because the one percenters, the lobbyists, at the behest of the one percenters, the corporations, they pay them to buy those politicians.
Mm-hmm.
In Trump's first debate, Trump said, I have to pay everybody. Now, he didn't say it in these words, but Trump said, I'm a self-made millionaire. I didn't make my money from lobbyists. I got out there and built a business, and I made billions of dollars. If I keep having to pay these politicians off, I won't have anything left. I'm tired of paying these who gets rich off of lobbyists, i.e. and the taxpayer. I'm tired of paying them. I need to do something about it. So Trump is one rich guy fighting against another group of rich guys who gets rich off of the taxpayers, because the taxpayers keep them in office. And while they're in office, they get paid by the lobbyists. And while they're getting paid by the lobbyists, they become multimillionaires. Trump is messing with that money machine by exposing the dirt of D.C. No president in our history has ever upset the apple cart the way that Trump has. The closest to it is John F. Kennedy, Andrew Jackson, and Eisenhower. Eisenhower tried to integrate, most people don't know this, he tried to integrate the Army. He tried to bring about integration on a large scale, but said, let me start with the Army. The Democrats fought him tooth and nail, just like the Democrats fought the Republicans over the issue of slavery. So that's the parallel. You got rich people who get rich because they are paid, and that's what was happening in the South. That's how the politicians were able to sell the war to the poor whites of the South, getting them out there on the battlefield.
Yeah, no, it makes
dying,
sense.
losing their lives, not knowing the real nature of the truth. Hey, I am fighting so that they can keep their slaves, and when they move westward, expand slavery westward, and they don't want the rich North telling them not to. The rich North didn't care nothing about slavery. They just didn't want the South to have an unfair advantage when it came to commerce.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense.
So, what do we say to? I mean, I'm born and bred here in the South. I have somewhere in my lineage, you know, my great grandpappy fought in the 13th Regiment in the Confederacy. I'm sure he probably couldn't spell his own name and had to sign with an X. So how do we reconcile with today's society that this whole Confederacy holding on to this flag as a symbol? How do we reconcile with these people that it's more than the heritage? There's actually something underlying. Just like we would kind of, I'm sure our ears would perk if we saw a Nazi swastika flag flying around, or if we had, of course, anyone can wear a Che Guevara shirt on the streets or in college. No one raises an eye to that. But I'm sure if a Nazi flag was flying around, we'd kind of raise a little bit of ire. Why do we have this detachment from the Confederacy flag versus like a Nazi flag?
Well, we know that the Nazis were vilified unanimously, except by Nazis.
All right.
Okay. The soldiers do what soldiers do; they followed orders.
Mm-hmm.
So, because of the unified vilification of the Nazis, people will raise an eyebrow to that. But here in the South, once they lost the war, I don't know if you've heard of the Compromise of 1877.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what it said was, okay, North, you won, we yield. We tell you what, we'll stop fighting this slavery issue. You can have what you want, but just give us two things. Remove your soldiers from the South and leave us alone with the Negroes. Leave us alone. And the North agreed because Lincoln was dead. And the Republicans just went back to doing what Republicans did, and that is compromise of 1877. Stepped back and they allowed the South to do what they wanted to do. And what did the South do? That was the birth of the black codes and the Jim Crow South. And that's how the South began. They had what they called literacy tests. When you would go to vote, they might have a jar of bubble gum, and they say, tell me how many bubble gum balls there are in this jar, or how many bubbles are produced from a bar of soap. Or they would charge a fee that they knew blacks couldn't pay. These are the things that they actually put in place. The black codes prevented them from owning guns and things of that nature. And the North, the Congress, did absolutely nothing because there was nobody watching the hen house. Abraham Lincoln had been assassinated. And so, and here's what I tell people all the time. So they're men. So if we're all men, we're supposed to be created equal, but they were violating that.
Right.
So the bottom line, we got the 13th Amendment, but people just didn't want to play right. So we had to get the 14th Amendment because they didn't want to allow people to vote. Well, you're a former slave, et cetera, et cetera. So the 14th Amendment wasn't good enough. So then we got the 15th Amendment. Well, the 15th Amendment wasn't good enough. So then we had to get the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Well, that wasn't good enough. Then we had to get the Voting Rights Act of 1960. So they just refused to play right, to play fair. And so we had to amend the Constitution 3 times, and then had to pass 2 civil rights bills. The way I reconcile it, I use what I call attrition. If you tell somebody the truth long enough, they'll either get it or they'll die in their ignorance. Right. Either way, change will come. And I say, you can love your flag, you can fly your flag. It does not bother me. I don't care.
Right.
However, please accept all that goes along with your heritage. You can't have half of it. You need to have 100% of it.
That's right.
You know, I'm at peace with that.
That's a good point. That's kind of where I think your post kind of punched me square in the eyes. Not that I own any rebel flags or fly one, but you see a lot of it here in the South. And I mean, in different parts of the South I travel, you see a little bit more of it than we do here in Charlotte. But they need to accept the 100% of it. If you're going to fly that, just like if someone was to walk around with a swastika, you have to accept everything that kind of has gone with the history of that symbol, I would think. So anyway, I appreciate you saying that, because that's the truth is what matters, and the truth is best disinfectant. And like you said, if you keep repeating it, it either sink in or the thick skull, or they'll just have to die ignorant. So that's a great quote. I'm gonna quote you on that. I'm probably gonna hashtag that.
Yeah. Not a problem. Feel free to do so.
That's right.
Derek, this is Biggin. So some of the things that I resonated with what you were saying was just the systems basically were put into place by people that had all the power. The people that had the power made the rules, and they only wanted to keep their livelihood in check. So they would put in those rules into place that would keep other people down and not allow other people to still have the power to make a better life for themselves. How do you see that still playing out today in today's culture?
So we have this, what we call two-party system. It used to work. The reason it doesn't work now is because the Republican Party has been infiltrated by progressives. I call them rhinos. And they work hand in hand to keep policies in place that do the things that you're talking about.
Yeah.
While they use the media
yes.
to create the illusion
yeah.
that there is a battle between two parties and that all the ills of the country is because of one party or the other. I made a statement earlier Divided we fall, together we stand. They understand that, and they use that. And so the problem I have with the Republican Party is that there are so-called conservatives who continue to re-elect guys like John McCain, guys like Lindsey Graham, Johnny Isaacson. I can go on and on and on with members of the Senate and the House who may as well be liberal progressive. And the liberal progressive ultimate goal is globalism, and all at the behest of the one percenters. When I ran, I was actually told, and I recorded the conversation, Derek, it's not your turn. Pick something further down the trough because other people have paid their dues, and it's their turn to go now. That's all about getting in so that you can become personally enriched as long as you play the game. What they didn't know is I don't play the game. I actually believe in conservative ideals. And that's when I became an enemy to the Republican Party. But I see people all the time who came out after me, but they play the game when needed. They say the things that the Republican establishment wants them to say. So you see these people on Fox News, you see the liberal progressives on CNN, MSNBC. Why don't you see Derek Grayson on those shows? Because Derek Grayson will tell the truth about the Republican Party. And those that can, and I tell people about Fox, they allow certain people to speak truth at certain times. But anytime they tap one on the shoulder and say, we need you to lie about this, that's exactly what they'll do. Sean Hannity is one of those people. When Ron Paul was running and Ron Paul was talking about the new slavery that exists today because of 1913, the Federal Reserve, they didn't want him talking about that. They called him a kook. They called him a racist. And Fox just completely ignored him. They ignored him. And so that's when I realized, wow, it goes that deep. Fox is not as conservative as I thought they were. They will turn on a dime just like the liberal media against any candidate that represents true conservatism. And how do they do it? They ignore them and they lie on them. And that is what happened to me. I didn't play the game, so you will not see me on Fox. Because I'll tell Sean Hannity, why are you now about liberty and freedom when you ignored Ron Paul, one guy who stood out for liberty and freedom against Mitt Romney, who became the guy for the Republican Party? How is that, Sean Hannity? Can you explain that? He wouldn't want to answer a question like that.
Absolutely not.
So how can you not support Ron Paul, a man who understood? So let me tell you guys, and just settle the whole thing. When slavery ended, that made the rich people, both of the North and the South, vulnerable. Because in 1910, there was a major bank failure. And they started to planning and plotting. If you ever read the book, The Beast from Jekyll Island, you will understand what happened with J.P. Morgan and the other people that they met at Jekyll Island. They basically said, okay, we're in a pickle. We're about to go under. So what we're going to do, we're going to choose which banks we will allow to remain solvent and which banks we will allow to fail. Once we're done with that, we need to implement a plan to where we never take a loss again. And that happened in 1913 when they gave us the Federal Reserve Act, when they gave us the IRS, and when they gave us the 16th Amendment. Those three things created slaves of every single working American in this country.
Yeah.
We are nothing but tax and debt slaves. No matter what happens, the banks will never fail because you know what? When they loan money to the federal government, you get the debt, they get the profit. And it is a transfer of wealth. And see, I keep telling people, if you don't understand 1913, you don't know jack.
Well, most people don't realize that this country has actually functioned without before the IRS actually, the most. I'm a libertarian by I'm not a big L, I'm a small L libertarian, but the common conversation you always have, well, taxation is theft. Okay, well, who's going to build the roads? We had roads before the IRS came in, so the concept is very lost to people that we haven't had IRS since the foundation of this country.
Right. Well, the IRS was necessary in order for the central bank to prosper.
That's
when
right.
They started taxing our income. That was the beginning of the destruction of our financial system.
That's right.
Now, what a lot of people don't understand, Trump understands that, and Trump wants to stop that. But, I tell folk all the time, because they'll say, why isn't Trump addressing that? And I say, we didn't get to where we are overnight. Our country, the infrastructure that was put in place to screw every taxpaying American was done incrementally. And the only way to turn that back is to incrementally dismantle it. Well, where do you start? You got to start with the people that are doing the bidding of the 1%ers. You got to drain the swamp. Nothing will happen if you don't get rid of the crooks at the top. And people don't know it, but Donald Trump is working to get rid of the people that are corrupt and have been doing the bidding of the 1%ers, the bankers, since 1913.
Derek, do you think, I'm going to give you a profit star if it happens, do you think Trump will get reelected?
If they don't kill him, yes, I do. They announced yesterday that, here's the deal. See, people don't understand chain reaction. Trump started talking about the H1B program, or HB1 visa program. I think that's the HB1B. The way that works, to save money, a company will hire somebody under that visa program, even though there's an American that can do it. But they can pay that person who comes in on that visa half of what they pay the American, and not have to pay any benefit. Well, Trump is saying, well, I'm modifying that. So people are wise to what's going on and are trying to get ahead of the curve. I now get emails and calls every day about jobs in the technology field because the industry has recognized there is going to be a change as long as Trump is in office. Plus, they benefited from tax breaks and easing up regulation. Jobs that were not available as plenteous as they are now back in the technology industry. And I can testify to that. I get an email every day about a job somewhere in the technology industry. They are not looking for people overseas to come in and fill those positions like they have been. And that's because Trump said there's going to be some changes. It's the same thing with trade. When Trump talks about what he's going to do, people pay attention, and they are trying not to get caught with their drawers down. So, of Trump being in office, he will get elected if they don't kill him first.
Go back to this H1, I think it's H1N visa program.
Okay.
It's interesting how they've spun this too, because it goes back to that old cloak and dagger of he's anti-immigration. that's how it's being spun. But also the biggest decriers of the biggest decriers of this visa program are Amazon, Google, Apple at one point, because a lot of their IT the background software, the background support help was done either overseas or through places here in America with these visa recipients. So it's been interesting how they've spun this to the people that kind of lie that kind of feed into the media and they kind of regurgitate. So anyway, I appreciate you bringing that up as an interesting point.
I like to use parallels for people to help them understand, paint a picture for them. A business or a corporation, their primary goal is to make a profit. Mm-hmm. The business owner wants to make a profit so that he can live, so that he can provide for his family. Mm-hmm. Corporations want to make a profit so that the shareholders will continue to find them a worthy investment and keep their money in that company as long as they can pay dividends, because those dividends help those shareholders to live and take care of their family, right?
Right.
So, if a corporation can make a tennis shoe in Taiwan for $2.50 versus $10 in America, if the laws allow it, where do you think that corporation is going to get the tennis shoe made?
Walmart?
Taiwan. It's Taiwan.
That's right.
It's Taiwan. And then Taiwan will import that, our American policy will allow that tennis shoe to be imported into our country for a little or nothing. So that's the unfair trade that Trump was talking about. Mm-hmm. So let's take the small business owner here in this country. I remember when I had a rough time in my life, I was at a rough patch. I worked on the labor pool. It was day labor. You show up, and if you got a car, you always got to go out. They pays you, about a minimum wage. And I did that for about 6 months to keep some money in my pocket till I could find something better. I'm determined like that. But at any rate, these labor pools were all over the city of Atlanta. Today, they are gone. Why are they gone? Because, see, the labor pool collected taxes. They paid your workman's comp. They deducted the federal income tax. They deducted your, Social Security, and all, just like any other job. So, if you work for 8 hours, at $5 an hour, you got $40 for the day. Well, when they finished with taxes, you might have went home with $32.60. Okay, because they was taking out the taxes. Well, what do you think a small business owner is going to do if they can go and get somebody as an illegal immigrant and pay them $5 an hour for 10 hours a day, where they ain't got to pay no taxes or whatever? They're going to use that illegal immigrant.
Sure.
You can't find a labor pool in the city of Atlanta today because of that. If you go to any Home Depot or Lowe's every morning from 6 to 8, you will see throngs of immigrants. Mm-hmm. They're out there. They call it the catch-out corner. They are out there, and trucks come by, pick them up, and take them to go do those jobs, and they pay them under the table.
Right.
That's why all the labor pools shut down. So the motivation is the same. The small business owner makes money through illegal immigration, and corporations make money by sourcing materials overseas and exporting manufacturing overseas. Same motivation to make a profit, and our government policies allows it. How does it help the corporations? It makes it legal for them to get their stuff made overseas and import it for a little or nothing. How do they help the small business owners? They haven't done a damn thing about fixing illegal immigration, and that's what it's all about.
They probably won't either. So it's a hot button issue.
And here's where I kind of knew that we were in trouble just as a country is when Trump was announcing we're putting America first and people were offended because we were putting America first. I was like, oh boy, there's a sign of the time right there. Yeah.
There you go.
And I think
They don't want to put America first. They don't want to make America great again.
Yeah.
They want to make America like other countries where we decimate the middle class and only have two classes, the haves and the have-nots. All of this has been liberal Democrat policies and rhinos in the Conservative Party. Their whole goal has been to decimate the middle class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We don't want jobs to stay in this country. We want them overseas. When they go overseas, it makes more people poor, thus making them more dependent upon government. Mm-hmm. They'll be looking for more money in their welfare check than a job, and that's it.
That's right. That's right.
When you condition people to live on the food stamp and a welfare check, when you condition, look, the experiment worked. Why do you think there is a high number of blacks receiving welfare when you compare them to whites? And a lot of people don't understand that because, see, some ignorant folk will tell me, well, there are more white people on welfare, so I have to break it down and give them an example. I have to paint a picture for it. Okay, let's say we only have 100 white people in America and 10 black people in America. Okay? 4 white people are on welfare and 6 black people are on welfare. So that's still more white, 10 white people on welfare and 6 black people on welfare. They'll say, well, that's still more white people. What they don't get is 60% of the black population is on welfare versus only 10% of the white population. And that's what they miss.
Right, per capita.
Yeah, well, that's facts no longer matter. So it's all interpreted by the host, I guess. So
well, they matter to me.
Absolutely, that's too.
Yeah, and if a person is willing to listen, I'll explain it to them. Now, I don't go around on other people's wall making my posts. I post just on my wall.
Mm-hmm.
And when people see it, it's because it's in their news feed. And I'll tell them quick, if you don't like it, either pass me on by, unfollow me, or block me. But this is my wall. And I am going to speak what I know to be true. So the bottom line is, gentlemen, I am not a fan of the establishment of either party. You will not see them interviewing me on Fox. I'll get interviewed by guys like yourself, people in local radios like Brian with Fetcher News, Brian Pritchard with Fetcher News, Monica Perez. She was a brave soul, and she worked for a corporate station, and she stepped out and interviewed me. So these are the types of people that will interview me. But national media, no, because they don't want people to hear about their tax and debt slaves. They don't want people to hear about the reason nothing gets done is because we keep electing rhinos in the Conservative Party that undermine conservative values. They don't want that put out there.
Yeah. No, I agree. We've become so dependent on the news to tell us what to believe, and then whatever party that is that follows along with said news, Fox News, CNN, whichever one you fall into, we don't do our own research. We don't look at the facts, and we just want to be spoon-fed, really, and then we'll be all fat and sassy and just be happy being ignorant. And I think that's the problem is once you start to wake up a little bit, you realize, this isn't going in a good direction.
If everybody that was a conservative ran for office once, I'm saying true conservative now, and ran for office once and saw what the Republican Party really was, rhinos would be turned out the very next election because you could see it face up. I didn't know it. I used to sing the praises of the Republican Party. I don't now. I sing the praises of individual conservatives in the Republican Party. But the Republican Party as a whole is aiding and abetting globalists in the Democrat Party.
Yeah, they're part of the problem. Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys are aware, but 2016, I was a Libertarian VP nominee.
I was.
Of course, I withdrew. I told them, I said, what I'm seeing here is no different than what I've seen in the Republican Party. Now, I didn't have to be nominated.
Mhm.
Somebody nominated me, and apparently enough votes to get me on the ballot. But I went through and said support the black guy. His name is escaping me right now. Gary Johnson has moved you to support William Weld. William Weld is a progressive. Now, as a conservative, I support him because he was anti-gun. But as libertarian, how can you support a man that's a progressive?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that was some people. I didn't make. I made some enemies and I made some friends with my speech at the Libertarian convention.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, I mean, the whole 2016 voter or the election was just a fiasco, and I followed the Libertarian Party pretty closely then, and it was just a freak show and sideshow at many events that I attended. So, but anyway, we're going to probably wrap this up. We know we've taken enough of your time during your drive wherever you're going home. Hopefully,
If you're stuck in Atlanta, you still got like 4 more hours to get to your house, so you're fine.
but
Every evening, I drive to Rome to visit my mom.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
Spend the night with her in the hospital. She's in ICU up in Rome, Georgia.
Wow.
It's about 80 miles from home. So since last Friday, when I get off work, the weekdays that is, I just stayed up there Saturday, Sunday. But Friday of last week, Monday, today, Tuesday, I get off work. I drive to Rome. I get in that recliner, talk to my mom, and go to sleep. Get up, drive home, take a shower, and go to work.
Wow. Well, we'll encourage all our listeners of this show, if they hear this by the time it debuts Monday, keep a prayer and lift Mama Grayson up in prayer, and hopefully she has a speedy recovery. And we know God can do miracles, and we've seen that. We all can testify to that. And we're both God-fearing men here on the show, so we will definitely reach out to that. Please please follow up with us on that and let us know how she is. But we'd love to have you back on the show some other time and talk some other hot button issues. But sure. Where can people find you on the social medias if they want to follow you and check out your fiery post?
Derek Grayson, if they just Google my name,
Derek E. Grayson,
Grrick, Grayson, they will find links to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
All right, we'll make sure we put that in the show notes. But once again, that was Derek Grayson, DerrickGrayson. Yep. You can find him on Facebook, Twitter, and also YouTube. And also sometimes he does his little daily commute drive-in thoughts of the day, and I appreciate those too when I'm able to catch them. But anyway, Mr. Grayson, we appreciate you coming on, and safe travels to see your mom in Rome, and hopefully she has a good recovery.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
You guys.
Derek Grayson, a.k.a. the Minister of Truth. You can find him on the Twitters and YouTube and Facebook at Derek Grayson. Please go to our page at southernfriedphilosophy.com. You can go to our YouTube at youtube.com/SFP Radio. Also go to our Twitters and Instagram at SFP Radio. By the way, it's summer. Official school will be out. Summer's in, so I'm putting my daughter in charge of that since she owes me like $300.
Oh, nice.
And go to our Facebook page at Southern Fried Philosophy podcast, and that's where we kind of do most of our activities, stupid pictures and things like that. Go to iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, subscribe, give us a review, share the episodes, send us a message, whatever you want to do. We just appreciate you listening every week.
Don't forget our Patreon link. You can check that out on our website. And as always, keep looking up.
This is Derek Grayson, folks, and you've been listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Join them whenever you can.